timber frames get raised in assemblies, either as bents, what we're doing here, the cross section, or in walls. It depends on what your frame design is, what your site is perhaps, and a little bit what gear you have to raise it, because some of these assemblies get pretty big. When it gets to be full-size buildings nowadays, you have a small crew and a crane, or you have a whole lot of friends and somebody with a good booming voice that knows what they're doing. For our learning purposes, we have a nicely scaled example. We've got post 1A, post 1B. They're already oriented with the reference face up, same as bent girt 1. It's also got the reference face up. The goal is to fit these pieces together, see where there might still be some little finessing to do in the joinery to get things to be right on dimension. Here's a bent, this simple bent with 2 posts, the tie beam or bent girt that goes across and the 2 braces. We know what the final dimensions are supposed to be. The outside post, reference face to reference face, is supposed to be 10 feet. And same thing here at the top, wants to be 10 feet and 10 feet. We don't want a parallelogram, so we want to make sure that it's square. And one way to check square is to create a 3-4-5 triangle. Same thing could work for a wall. If you've got 3 posts, you can see it's a little bit bigger of an assembly if you have more people. Your deck you're going to prepare by snapping your footprint. First things first, let's see if we can get these tie beam tenons into their mortises. Try to insert this one here. Oh, let me get that chip out of the way. Ah, that works nice. There we go. Now, unfortunately, we can't get the braces in with these fully engaged. We're gonna have to slide these apart a little bit, not completely disengaging that tenon. How tight that is can be any number of things. Either the mortise is too tight, the tenon's too fat, there's a little bit of twist in the pieces, so that regulates one end and then it throws this one off. So there can be any number of things why things don't go together. So the answer is usually not more force, but to kind of see what's going on. Of course, everybody's seen the timber framing picture of the raising and the guy with a big commander hammer driving things together, and that has its place, but pulling force is a lot more controlled, a lot more consistent. Let's go around the bottom. And then in addition with using tension, you can use percussive force with a hammer, with a beetle, with a commander, whatever you want to call it. There. So. If you're really concerned about your finish, it's good to protect these corners. Have a little block here that prevents the straps from digging in. Have you slide that in. Sounds like we're home, huh? Rather than applying more force, it's better to investigate a little bit. The tenon might just be a little too long. Let's take a look. Here's our culprit right here. This is about 4.5. That needs a little bit of work. So this is because we set the mortiser a little bit shallower than we normally do. That's why this corner is still bothering us. That looks almost good. So now you measure. So reference face to reference face. It's supposed to be, no, let's just hook that on there. That's actually right at 10, the way that it is. So this is 10 foot and 5/8. So something's still big. There's a gap here. There's no gap here. There's no gap in the mortise here. So you just start looking what's going on. The other thing is we haven't checked for square either. 16th here, the mortise is tight in the back, the mortise is tight up here, so this tenon can't really go in farther. Or it needs a lot more convincing. This corner has to crush here in the back. It hinges around here. It's a 16th here, times 3, that'll be at least 3/16. So if we get this tight, we're gonna be pretty close. Actually, you can see right here, if you come around and see this, the crush marks there, that's where it's fighting us. So you could get in there and clean that out. This is like the quick and dirty version. There. Put these blocks back and, yeah. So like now I'm within 1/8 of an inch here. So if we just, let's use his tape.
Let's use his.
So by now we know that it's a parallelogram at least. So checking square, it should be square with the geometry that we put in there, but it's worth checking. So here's a line that goes all the way across. This is a reference face, this is a reference face. We're within a 16th. Well, a little more than a 16th. Interesting. This is not seated right here. Some of those things are joinery cut by first-time timber framers. If this were my frame and it's going up, you know, you get it as good as you get, as you can make it before it goes up. Now's the time. It's going to stand for 4 generations. Once we're satisfied, this thing is square, it's parallel, it's on dimension, then we take our drill and we drill through the tenons and we set a peg through there. If you look at it from there, see that?
Yep.
And down low, you're all set.
Right, so it's right there.
So hit that spot right there. Check your work often.
I can see it from here.
Just the
Shoulder.
shoulder here as a whole is not quite. That is more like it. And then there's a bit of a bump right there. Ooh. So check that with the combo square. Better. Yeah, we're a little long. So at what point do you stop? At what point do you call it good? And that's highly individual.
Sure.
As it is right now, maybe it'll relax a little bit, but the goal is to have your geometry work out, to have this joinery all be exactly what you want it to be. Should we go ahead and drill this?
Yeah.
You have just a little bit of play in here,
Yeah.
where this would be straight in, and so you aim it toward the shoulder, and so that leaves just a little bit of a wafer in there. I'm actually going to go slower. And then you got to punch through, and that gives you what some people call a micro draw bore, just a little bit of an offset. So if you feel through here, you can feel that the hole in the tenon has just a little bit of slope. This joint you want to draw tight, basically always in the direction of the grain. When I drill this hole, I want this piece to draw in this way, so I lean away from it. So this would be straight in. This is a little bit of a tilt. One rule would be if you have two pegs that are doing the same job, is to kind of alternate them so that they do that at the same time. So you kind of go dink, 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 dink.
I do.
These are 7-inch long pegs in a 6-inch timber, so leave about a 1/2 inch either side.
Wax or something?
They are waxed. The reason I like using a heavy hammer for this is you need fewer blows to get it in, so you're not mushing them out your peg. Watch these joints as these pegs get driven in and the draw bore engages. So one thing that can happen is that these pegs do not find their way back into the other hole, and then they blow out on the far side. So that's what I'm feeling for on the other hand, is to make sure that the peg that exits the other side doesn't tear out a big chunk An adage that I've heard that I really like is that a boring raising is a good raising. When one of these things tips over, if somebody takes a fall, if a tool falls from on high and perhaps strikes somebody, that's the kind of excitement that you don't want. Take all the time you need, have one person in charge that knows how things are going to go. And then you can already maybe slide it closer to where the layout is. Probably 4 people can raise this, and we'll have 2 people here just keeping these from sliding.